Hi, this video is going to talk about the various different SMS features that Dashcord adds to Salesforce. We're going to look at sending SMS to lists of people, either immediately or as scheduled future sends. We're also going to look at sending SMSs directly to an individual, and also talk about the various different things that you can do with inbound SMS, whether that be updates to a record, or forwarding that SMS to the lead or contact owner, or any of the number of different things that Dashcord allows you to do. So I'm going to start by looking at this lead record, Joe Smith. You'll notice that Joe Smith has a mobile number filled out here. This is actually my number, so we are going to see these messages as they come up on my phone. And I'm just going to scroll down here. We'll talk about some of the details on this record a little bit later. Things like this SMS conversation panel that show an inline conversation with this person, the send SMS button that allows you to send SMS directly to them or schedule it for a future date and time. But for now, I'm just going to scroll down here and take a look at the campaign history. So you'll see that this particular lead is a member of this workshop event. So this is an event that was set up using Dashcord's event registration and ticketing capabilities. And this particular lead has responded to that event and now is placed into this event campaign. So this is a standard Salesforce campaign, but there's a few different Dashcord functions that have been added here. I'm not really going to cover any of these in detail at all other than SMS. If you've got interest in any of these other features, you can contact us directly and we can walk you through a personalized demo. But for now, I'm just going to focus on the SMS features. So this send SMS button allows me to send an SMS either immediately or scheduled to all the members of this campaign. In this particular case, you see there's only 2 people in this campaign right now, and one of them actually is inactive. That could be because they've opted out of SMS. That might be that they don't have a number on their record. It could be a number of different reasons that they're inactive. But for now, there's only one active member, and that's this lead that we were looking at previously, who's Joe Smith. So here I'm just going to pull up a template that I had created previously. And this is a registration confirmation SMS that's going out to people. It's going to merge in some details from the event record and from the campaign record. It's going to send people the name of the event, the date and time, directions to the event. And then I've also set up some inbound SMS handlers that will allow people to respond to this SMS that's sent with their dietary requirements. And if they respond with a particular dietary requirement, we're going to take action within Salesforce. We're going to mark their record in some way. And depending on what the option that they select is, we may also forward that on to the event manager if they need to get back in touch with this person. We're also giving people the ability to opt out of SMS. So you see here, I could schedule this for a future date and time. So a lot of times when you're running something like an event or a marketing campaign or something like that, you actually want to set up a series of scheduled SMSs that are going out over a schedule in the coming days or weeks. So I could set this up well in advance if I wanted to. But in this case, just for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to send this out immediately. Click send here. Here I get some send statistics. This is somewhat irrelevant in this point because we only have one campaign member, so I'll just click OK. And now that SMS has been sent out to Joe Smith, who is a member of that campaign. So what I'm going to do now is switch over to my phone and show you that SMS as it's come in. All right, so you can see here, here's the SMS that we'd sent out. It's merged in the details. It's given me some directions. And we've got the section here where it's asking me about dietary requirements. So this is just one example of how you might update a record using SMS. You could also use this to really do anything that you want, to modify any field, standard or custom, on any number of records related to the individual lead or contact. In this case, let's reply back and just say that we're vegan. I'm going to send that back. Got some things set up here that are going to not only mark the dietary preference against somebody's lead or contact record if they've responded, but also are going to respond back to them just to let them know that their preferences have been recorded. And you can see here that as soon as I sent that message off, it matched up against my record, found my number, sent back to me and said, hey, thanks, your meal preference has been recorded as vegan. So now I'm going to switch over and go back to my lead. Scroll down here and find, here he is. All right, so now you'll see that on that record, here's the message history. So here's the message that we'd sent them from that campaign. Here was the response that came back in. And then here was the auto response that thanked him for the preference. You see that when that happened, it actually updated this meal requirements field on the lead record. Again, these triggers could be set up to do anything. They could be set up to modify any field on the record. They could be based off of various different inbound trigger requirements, or they could always trigger whenever an inbound SMS came in. You've got a lot of flexibility as to what you do when SMSs are matched against lead and contact records. I'll show you a couple other things here. If I scroll down here on this lead record, you'll see that I've exposed this related list. A lot of times you might not have this on the page layout, but all of these SMS messages are being logged as they go back and forth. And then I also have recorded here into the activity history. Optionally, you can record SMSs into activity history. So if you wanted those to be part of the standard activity history on a record, you could do so. And we'll talk now a little bit about how that's set up. So I'm going to go over here to SMS handlers. SMS handlers are the handlers that are taking care of these rules. So I've got this handler here just as another example as to what we can do. This one's actually inactive right now, so we're going to activate this in a minute. But you'll see that an SMS handler matches a trigger response with an inbound condition. So in this case, the trigger type of this is an SMS response. There's 3 different things that we can do when SMSs come back in. We can send an SMS back to the person. So the example that we just saw, that's the SMS that went back to somebody saying, thank you for marking your preferences as vegan. We've noted them. That was set up based off of the fact that the inbound trigger text contained the word vegan. Same too with the record update. So the record update was using a tracking link. So we had a piece of Dashcord functionality that was updating the record to mark the meal preferences when the inbound trigger text matched the word vegan, and you saw that happen. And then the third thing that you can do when you match an inbound SMS is that you can trigger off some custom Apex. So obviously a lot of flexibility there with the types of things that you can do as you start to match inbound messages with their owner. We're going to activate this and show you another example of how you might use one of these handlers. So in this case, this is an SMS handler that is saying when we match an inbound SMS with a record inside Salesforce, we actually want to notify the owner of that record that they've received an SMS from that customer. So an example of how this might be used is you might have an account executive or sales manager or somebody that's out in the field and really should be notified when an inbound message comes in from certain customers. So in this case, we want to say, let's activate this. And this rule here is just saying that when an SMS comes in from a matched number, we're going to then forward a message to the contact or lead owner. And the contents of that message are going to say you've got an SMS from the contact or lead's name at their company. And we're also going to provide a link to their record ID. And we're going to wrap in the original text message that they had sent. The idea being, and we'll demonstrate this here in a minute, but the idea being that if somebody replies back to a text that's been sent from Salesforce or from the company, that the owner of that record can take a response from the same phone number, not having to use their personal number. And they can do that directly out of the Salesforce One app, as you'll see here in a minute. So let's go back to the lead record. Let's actually just use this little inline panel here. Say that I'm the record owner here, the sales rep, and I want to text this customer just to tell them that looking forward to seeing them at the event. So if I switch back to my phone now, we'll see that that message should have come in. Yep, there it is. Hi, Joe. Looking forward to seeing you at our event. Now, as Joe, because of the conditions I've set up here, if I am to respond to this message, or if I respond to this message, this is actually going to get forwarded back to the record owner. In that case, this is me. So when I respond to this message, you actually see a message get sent directly back to me. That's just telling me that I've received an SMS. This is a little bit of a funny situation because you wouldn't usually be sending yourself SMSs back and forth. But just for the purposes of this demo, hopefully you can get the picture as to how this is going to work in your environment when you're sending back and forth with customer numbers. All right, let's just send that. Okay, so that message has gone back. Okay, and now immediately out of Salesforce, forwarded to me in this case as the record owner, I've got this message saying, you've just received a message from your customer. Here's a link to their record. Here's what they said. If I go back here to Salesforce and just refresh this conversation panel, yeah, you'll see those two messages have updated there. And then let's go back to my phone and just click on this. So that'll open this particular record inside of Salesforce 1. And you'll see that here in Salesforce 1, this conversation panel is compatible with the mobile app. So if you've got people out in the field that are using the Salesforce 1 mobile app, you can use SMS from Dashcord directly out of that app. If I scroll down here, we'll see that conversation panel. I've also just added a quick link to an SMS button here, so I can just click on that and pull that panel back up. And then I can reply directly here from mobily to that message. Not the most exciting conversation, but hopefully you get the point. So I've just sent that back from Salesforce 1, and now that's going to come back to me as the customer. So I'll see that SMS pop up here in a minute. There it is. Okay, the last thing that we're going to show you in this video is how you can use Dashcord SMS steps within Process Builder. I'm going to switch over here to another window. This is a process that I've created that is selecting opportunities that have been won at an amount of greater than or equal to $100,000, at which point we're using Dashcord to send an SMS to the regional manager listed on the opportunity. That SMS message is merging data about the opportunity name, the value, the owner of the record, and inserting it into the SMS. I'll show you here the few SMS steps that Dashcord adds to Process Builder. Using Dashcord, you can do three different things. You can send an SMS, just a plain text SMS with no merge fields. You can send an SMS that uses merge fields and merges data out of Salesforce, but doesn't save the SMS into Salesforce activity history. And then finally, you can send an SMS with merge fields that saves the record into activity history. So in this case, like I said, we've set up this process where we are looking at, is the opportunity won? When that's true, and when the opportunity amount is greater than or equal to $100,000, we're going to execute this action. This action is set up here to send an SMS to the regional manager. So we're looking up the regional manager, regional manager's phone number. That's the destination phone number. The message that we're sending here, you'll notice has some merges in it. We're saying when opportunity name has been closed in the amount of this opportunity amount by the opportunity owner's name. We're going to merge that in also. And then finally, this third field here just needs to reference the ID of the record that we're merging out of. So in this case, I've just set up a reference and I'm just pulling in the opportunity ID. So we'll save that. Let's activate this process. Now I'll switch over to this opportunity. You'll see that this meets our threshold. So this is at $100,000, which means that if we close this out as 1, we should receive that SMS that is sending to the regional manager the details of this particular opportunity. I'm listed here as the regional manager, so I'll get that text when we close this out. Let me just drag my phone screen back over here. Let me change the stage to 1. And there we go. So now I've received that SMS that we had set up through Process Builder. That's obviously, like we said before, just one example as to how you could use Process Builder along with Dashcord SMS. Lots of different ways that that feature could be used. So hopefully that gives you a quick overview of SMS from Dashcord within Salesforce. Please, if you have any questions, you can reach out to us, sales@dashcord.com, or feel free to give us a call. I'd be happy to walk you through a personalized demo if you wanted to see this in more detail, or if you've got any questions. And we'll be putting some more of these videos up shortly, so keep a lookout. We'll be covering various different topics here, including how to set up some of the other SMS type handlers that we had a brief look at today. Thanks very much for joining us, and we hope to talk to you soon.